Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to try and get a handle on bitsCrunch, or BCUT. It's one of those really crucial projects in the crypto space, but maybe not the easiest to understand.
Definitely. It sits kind of behind the scenes.
Right. So our mission today is simple. Take these pretty dense reports we've got and just break down what this AI data network is all about, without getting lost in the jargon.
Exactly. And we've got some great sources here. They really lay out what bitsCrunch is trying to do. Basically create a much safer, more transparent space for digital assets. And they started with NFTs, which, let's face it, needed it.
The Wild West. Right. So for you listening, think of this as your shortcut to understanding, well, maybe the detective agency of Web3.
That's a good way to put it. An AI detective agency.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Why do we even need this? I mean, isn't the blockchain supposed to be transparent already? What's the actual danger BCUT is fighting?
Yeah, that's a common point of confusion. The transactions themselves, yes, they're public on the ledger, but the intent behind them, that's often hidden, malicious even.
Ah, okay.
And the reports we looked at, they detail some really big problems, systemic ones.
Like what? Give me the specifics. What are the numbers telling us?
Well, first off, fraud is rampant, especially wash trading, where people just sell NFTs back and forth between their own wallets to fake volume and pump up the price.
Right, artificially inflating things.
Exactly. But the stat that really jumped out, it related to their forgery detection tools. According to OpenSea data cited in one report, something like 80%. 80% of tokens made with their free tools were just spam, outright fraud, or plagiarism. Stolen art, basically.
Hold on. 80%.
80, yeah.
That's staggering. That completely changes how you have to look at the market, doesn't it? It means most of the data you might use to figure out a fair price is just noise. Or worse.
It totally undermines trust. And that's the core issue BCUT is tackling. There just weren't reliable tools for anyone, collectors, investors, to figure out what was real, what the fair value was, or what the risk looked like. It was just opaque.
So when did they realize this was the problem to solve? Was there like an aha moment?
The sources point to the big Beeple NFT sale back in 2021, the $69 million one.
Oh yeah, everyone remembers that.
Right. Once that kind of money entered the space, it became crystal clear that proper security and forensic tools were desperately needed. That seems to be when they really zeroed in on NFTs.
Makes total sense. Big money attracts big problems. Okay, so if the issue is sussing out intent and spotting fakes in this opaque market, give us that simple analogy again. What does bitsCrunch do?
Okay, think of it like an independent, decentralized credit bureau, but supercharged with AI and specifically for digital stuff like NFTs.
Okay, a credit bureau for NFTs.
Yeah, but it goes deeper than just checking payment history, right? A normal credit bureau just sees if you paid. BCUT looks at the entire history of an asset, the transactions, the wallets involved, how long it was held, and uses AI and machine learning to figure out if that behavior looks legitimate or really suspicious.
Got it. So it's analyzing the how and why, not just the what. What kind of services come out of that analysis?
Exactly right. The detective work results in a few key services. First, wash trading detection, vital for spotting that fake volume trying to manipulate prices.
Okay.
Second, price estimation, giving you a fair value based on tons of data points, rarity, sales history, social buzz, all that. And third, forgery and IP infringement detection. This often uses advanced computer vision tech to spot visual copies or stolen artwork. Super important given that 80% fraud figure we talked about.
That's a powerful set of tools. But usually this kind of analysis comes from, big centralized companies. It's like a black box. You get a score, but you don't know how they got it. How does bitsCrunch keep its detective work decentralized and trustworthy?
That's the crucial difference. And it's all about their architecture. They knew they couldn't be another black box, so they built a decentralized network. Importantly, it's not a full blockchain itself, like an L1 or L2. It's a data network protocol that sort of sits on top of the existing ecosystem.
Okay, layer on top. Can you break down how that network actually works? Simply.
Let's try an analogy. 4 main layers. Think of layer 1, the acquisition layer, like a fleet of digital vacuum cleaners.
Okay, vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, sucking up raw data from all over Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, Base, I think over 10 blockchains now, just gathering all that raw transaction data.
Got it. So collects the digital dust. Then what?
Then the dust goes to layer 2, the processing layer. This is like the high-tech forensic lab. Here, the raw data gets fed into all those sophisticated AI and machine learning models. They actually acquired an AI company called Nidum AI to boost this part significantly.
Ah, so that's where the intelligence comes in.
That's where the analysis happens, yeah.
Yeah.
Generating the risk scores, the valuations, spotting the fakes. Then layer 3 is basically a queuing system, organizing the results. And finally, layer 4 is the query API. Think of it as the universal translator. Users interact with this single point to get the insights they need without wrestling with the complexity underneath.
Okay, that makes the tech side clearer. Acquisition, processing, queue, query. But what about the intelligence itself? How do they make sure those AI models are actually good, cutting edge, and not controlled by some central group? That's key for trust in Web3, isn't it?
Absolutely. Trust is decentralized through the different roles in their network, which uses a delegated proof-of-stake system. You have operators running the nodes, processing data requests.
Right.
You have delegators who stake the BCUT token to support operators they trust. Standard stuff. But the really unique, innovative role is the contributor.
The contributor. Okay, what do they do?
These are the brains. They can be independent developers, data scientists, researchers, anyone really, and they can actually propose and submit new AI or ML models to the network.
New models, like new ways to detect fraud.
Exactly. Maybe someone develops a brilliant new algorithm for spotting a specific type of wash trading, or a better way to value generative art based on its code. They submit it to the network.
Okay, but wait, how does the network know if a new model is any good? Or, not malicious?
Yeah.
Couldn't someone try to game the system with a bad model?
Great question. That's handled by what they call their market of intelligence. A submitted model doesn't just go live, it has to be validated. This involves testing, maybe running it against historical data in a sandbox environment. There might even be a governance vote by the operators and delegators to approve it based on its performance and reliability.
So there's a quality control process.
A rigorous one. And here's the kicker. If the network validates and adopts a contributor's model, the contributor earns royalties based on its usage.
Royalties. So they get paid for contributing their IP.
Precisely. The reports mention they get 15% of the commissions generated whenever their specific model is used to answer a query. This creates this amazing incentive for the smartest people out there to constantly improve the network's intelligence. It's a self-improving system designed to stay ahead of centralized competitors.
That is clever. A decentralized brain that pays its neurons. Okay, let's switch gears to the practical side. If I'm just a regular person, maybe holding a few NFTs or exploring DeFi, what bitsCrunch tools might I actually use or see?
Okay, the most direct one, and maybe the most important for everyday safety, is something called the KYT Snap. KYT means Know Your Transaction.
KYT Snap, like a browser extension.
Sort of. It integrates directly into wallets like MetaMask. Think of it as a real-time safety check, like a traffic light for your transactions.
How does it work? What does it show me?
So before you hit that sign button on a transaction, which, let's be honest, is where most crypto disasters happen.
Guilty as charged. Click and sign too fast.
We've all been there. The snap pops up and gives you an instant risk score. It'll warn you if the wallet you're interacting with is flagged as suspicious, or if the smart contract is asking for way too many permissions, like maybe trying to drain your whole wallet. It's that crucial pause moment.
That sounds incredibly useful.
Yeah.
A little red flag before you potentially lose everything.
It's a fundamental safety layer. And then for people more actively collecting or investing in NFTs, there's Unleash NFTs.
Unleash NFTs.
Yeah, that's their public platform. It gives regular retail users access to those deep NFT analytics we talked about, fair price estimates, rarity analysis, wash trading indicators, basically letting you use the same kind of data insights that big institutions might have. Helps you make smarter decisions.
Okay, Unleash NFTs for collectors, KYT Snap for everyone's safety. You mentioned institutions. Let's talk about trust signals. When big traditional players get involved, it usually means something. Who's backing bitsCrunch?
The investor list is definitely top tier. You've got Coinbase Ventures, Animoca Brands, big names in the space, strategic partners too, like Chainlink and Polygon. But the one that really signals that bridge between crypto and traditional finance TradFi is their involvement with MasterCard.
MasterCard? How are they involved?
They joined the MasterCard Start Path program. Now, MasterCard isn't just playing around with crypto startups. This program is about integrating promising tech into real-world financial solutions. It strongly suggests BCUT is being looked at to provide the security layer needed to bring big banks and traditional finance users safely into Web3. MasterCard needs rock-solid, verifiable data for that.
Wow, okay. MasterCard is a huge vote of confidence. And that seems to tie into the regulatory approach, too.
It aligns perfectly. They've been really proactive about regulation. For example, they've already worked towards compliance with the EU's upcoming MiCA, Rules the Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation.
That's significant. Why is that important?
Because it positions them not just as a data provider, but potentially as a RegTech solution. Think about it. Banks, corporations, exchanges. If they want to operate with digital assets in Europe under MiCA, they need tools for risk assessment and compliance. BCUT is basically saying we've built those tools and they're MiCA ready. It turns a regulatory hurdle into a massive potential market for them.
That gives them a serious edge over competitors who might be slower on the compliance front.
Okay, essential perspective. But now we have to look at the other side. Risks. Vulnerabilities. What did the source materials highlight that listeners should be aware of?
Right. Gotta have balance. The reports pointed to a few key risk areas. First, just general market risk. It's a competitive field, right? You've got established players like Nansen, Dune Analytics. And while BCUT is trying to diversify, a chunk of their business is still tied to the NFT market, which we know can be super volatile, very cyclical.
Yeah, the NFT market's ups and downs are pretty extreme. What about financial risks, specifically around their token, BCUT?
That's the second major point. The tokenomics presents some significant concerns for investors. The BCUT token price has been incredibly volatile. The report stated it's dropped more than 95% from its all-time high at one point.
Wow, 95%, that's a huge drop. What does that signal?
It signals extreme sensitivity to market sentiment, obviously, but also suggests significant selling pressure has occurred. Investor confidence clearly took a massive hit during downturns. Are there specific things related to the token that people should watch out for?
Definitely the token unlock schedule. These are pre-planned releases of tokens previously held by early investors or the team. The sources specifically flagged one date, October 20th, 2024. On that day, 26.2 million BCUT are scheduled to be unlocked.
26.2 million. How much is that relative to the total?
It's about 2.62% of the total supply hitting the market potentially at once. These large unlocks often put serious downward pressure on the price as early holders might sell. So that date is definitely one to keep an eye on.
Okay, market risk, token pressure. What about security? They're a security company, but are they secure themselves? You mentioned an audit.
Yeah, they had a security audit by Halborn, which is a reputable firm. Overall, it seemed positive, but it did flag one specific issue rated as medium risk. It was called inappropriate slippage control, basically a potential vulnerability related to sandwich attacks on their token swaps.
Okay, a medium risk. Did they fix it?
Well, this is the interesting part highlighted in the report. The bitsCrunch team made a conscious business decision to accept this medium risk vulnerability, at least for the time being, rather than implementing an immediate fix.
They accepted a known risk. For a security-focused company working with partners like MasterCard, that sounds counterintuitive.
It does raise questions, right? It suggests they weighed the cost or complexity of the fix against the perceived likelihood or impact of the vulnerability. But for a project aiming to be the bedrock of trust for TradFi entering Web3, accepting any known security risk, even medium, could be seen as a point of concern. It definitely signals something about their risk tolerance and priorities, something to watch.
That's a really crucial detail. Okay, so pulling it all together, if you had to give the final takeaway on bitsCrunch, the one-sentence summary.
I'd say bitsCrunch is building a vital AI-powered decentralized intelligence network to fight fraud and provide trustworthy data, especially for NFTs. And crucially, they're gaining traction with major institutions looking for compliant ways to bridge the gap between traditional finance and Web3.
You know, that focus on compliance and bridging that gap makes it a great point to quickly pause and remind our listeners of something important.
That's absolutely right. If you're enjoying how we break down these complex projects into simple, actionable pieces and want more unbiased reviews just like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel, CryptoBox. We do all the complex research, so you don't have to.
We really hope this deep dive gave you a much clearer picture of bitsCrunch, not just what it does, but also the nuances, the strengths, and, the potential risks involved.
And maybe leave you with one final thought to chew on. We're seeing these tools, like bitsCrunch, being built to essentially police the often chaotic world of crypto. But now, big players like MasterCard are looking to potentially integrate them. So consider this. What does it mean when the security infrastructure designed for the crypto Wild West starts becoming essential plumbing for the entire global financial system? Something to think about.